Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Bidemi, your financial planner. Welcome to a beautiful Saturday. We are going to be sharing something so um, exciting, and we are going to be learning together today on what corruption is all about. Let me just wait for one person to come through, then. Thank you so much. Um, Welcome. Welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon. So let me see. I have Nordan here. I have Ibikunle Michael. I have Fademi. How are you today? So good to see you. So today, I'll be talking about corruption. That's what I'll be speaking about today. And it's a major problem in the world, especially less developing countries, especially countries that are wallowing in a lot of poverty. You'll be surprised that the countries who need aid the most, or the country that they are regarded as poor countries, are countries where extreme poverty is so high. It's a funny scenario. It shouldn't be so actually, but and that's the way it is. Poor countries are the people who have the highest number of corrupt individuals. And when I say corruption, um, yeah, people tend to, when they mention corruption, they tend to most times, always point to politicians or elected individuals. Those are the people they point to a lot, So, but I'm going to be coming from another perspective. I'm going to be coming from a different point of view, a different angle, so that you can get what it's all about. I'm going to start straight away. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, let's go and hit our share button so that, our young ones like you and me, can learn. Welcome, Raphael Obayalu. So good to see you. I hope you can hear me clearly, guys. Family, I hope you can hear me clearly. So, first, what is corruption? I'm going to define corruption from two different angles. Number one, you can define corruption as a dishonest or fraudulent conduct by individuals for private gain. Dishonest or fraudulent conduct by individuals for private gain. What I'm trying to say is corruption entails dishonesty. Corruption entails fraudulent acts. I won't point fingers to those who are elected because they were elected from the society. When a politician is elected who is very corrupt, it gives a reflection of the kind of people that exist in that society. It gives a reflection of the kind of individuals that exist in that environment. So, corruption can be defined as, in simple terms, dishonesty or fraudulent conduct or fraudulent act by individuals for private gain. So I think what we need to check ourselves on is, have we been dishonest? It's not only money now. People think when you talk about corruption, it has to do with money alone. No, even though I know money is the thing that is turning people's head all around. Almost larger percentage of the people in the world are crazy about money. They just want to, some of them will tell you money is everything. Money is everything. I just need money. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. And that's why Jesus, who is our mentor, warned us specifically, you can't serve God and mammon. You can't serve God and mammon at the same time. He also warned that life does not consist of what a man owns. Those are things that should guide one's principles and values. So I already said corruption has to do with dishonesty and fraudulent act. What are the synonyms of corruption? To make it so easier for you, the synonyms of corruption, as I already said, deceit, deception, fraud, misconduct, law breaking, criminality, double dealing, lies. So corruption doesn't just it doesn't just stand up on its own. It has, there's so many things surrounding it. There's so many things surrounding it. So let me put that again. The synonyms for corruption is, like I already said, corruption, dishonesty, deceit, deception, fraud, misconduct, law breaking, criminality, double dealing, and lies. Those are the things that entail what corruption is. I said from the beginning that I was going to explain it from two angles. So the first one, I talked about dishonesty and fraudulent act or conduct. The second one is, the second definition that I'm going to talk about, I checked these definitions online, so you can also go Google them, though I just did a few tweaks on them. Corruption can also be said as the process by which word or expression is changed from its original act to from its original state to one regarded as erroneous or debased. Let me say that again, then I'm going to interpret what it means. The process by which word or expression is changed from its original state to one regarded as erroneous or debased. So when you find people who are involved in for example, those who when you find something that is original, for example, if I'm wearing a shirt and I go ahead to produce the same version but a fake or less quality of that product, that could be said to as corruption. So I'm changing the original, I'm coming up with a counterfeit. I'm coming up with a counterfeit product. That could also be referred to as corruption. So what are the synonyms of this? The synonyms could be said from this definition, could be said to refer as alteration, falsification, manipulation, forging, adulteration, abuse. So the essence of this podcast is for you and me to check ourselves to be sure that we are on the right track. For us to be able to eradicate corruption totally from the environment, it starts from individuals. It starts from you and I. It starts from, what are those things we teach our kids? What are those values we imbibe in our kids? What are those principles we teach our kids? We teach our kids not to lie, but some adults go to lie because they think it's normal, because they think the society accepts lying. So it's just normal to lie. It's just normal to cheat people. According to Corruption Perception Index, in Nigeria, we rank, that's 2017, Nigeria ranks 148 out of 180. Nigeria ranks 148 out of 180 countries in corruption. 148. So it simply means that we are one of the corrupt countries in the world. We are one of the most corrupt countries in the world. And if we are one of the most corrupt countries in the world, we are not going to blame others. We are going to take the responsibility. We are going to take the responsibility and do what we need to do. We are going to take the responsibility and tackle it from our home. We start from the family. We are going to start from our own circles. We are going to start from our friends. It simply means that for you to say you want to fight corruption, those that are your friends should not be corrupt. You yourself, me, myself, should not be corrupt. I think in law says who wants to come to equity must come to equity with clean hands. So whosoever is going to fight corruption has to be clean. You have to check yourself. You have to check your cycle. You have to check your family. You have to ensure that your family is well grounded. You have to ensure that your family is well grounded. You have to check yourself, whatever environment you find yourself, whatever places you decide to spend majority of your time. You have to ensure that you are not found wanting with the vice, with the disease called corruption. So I'm going to end with these two quotes that says, one is by Charles Colton, and it says, corruption is like a ball of snow. Once it's set rolling, it must increase. Corruption is like a ball of snow. Once it's set rolling, it must increase. So the best thing is not to permit it at all. The best thing is not to allow it at all. The best thing is not to even allow. It's just like when you put a poison in a cup of water. Maybe what do I call it? Something that you know can pollute the water. It's going to pollute the whole water. So the best thing is not to allow corruption at all. So you and I, as Nigerians, as individuals, whatever country you might be watching from, eradication of corruption starts from you and me. We are not going to permit the slightest particle, allow me to use the word particle, called corruption in our system. It's getting to a time where people who are corrupt will no longer be celebrated. People who are corrupt are going to be locked in the jail. They are going to pay for stealing people's money. They are going to pay for stealing the resources of the country. They are going to pay for putting cries on people's faces. And no situation should warrant anybody to go steal from other people. None. Because everybody have their own share of problem they are dealing with. So your problem, my problem, should not give us a liability to cheat other people or to steal from other people. So corruption is like a ball of snow. Once it's set rolling, it must increase. Number two is a quote from Kurt Cobain. It says, the duty of every youth is to challenge corruption. The duty of every youth is to challenge corruption. We are not going to sit down and fold our arms and blame people for being corrupt. Because a quote says, when you elect people who are corrupt, like I said earlier, it shows that the totality of that environment, it shows they themselves, they are corrupt. So we are not going to fold our arms and blame people and say, okay, this person, yeah, we know that some set of people are deadly corrupt. They are rotten when it comes to stealing. They are thieves and rogues, we know. But our duty is to ensure that we teach people the right values. Our duty will be to ensure that we tell people what they need to know, the truth about what they need to know. We are getting to a time in our generation, we are not going to mix words. We are not going to mix words. It's okay to be diplomatic. Yeah, some people are diplomatic. The more you sit on the fence, the more you compromise. And like you and I should know, something should drive you, and that is, those who compromise are never honored by history. Those who compromise, if you find those who are neither here or there, they are hot or cold, history does not remember them. Find out those who are honored by history are those who stood up to fight for a cause greater than them. Are those who stood up to fight for their society, to ensure that a lot of people now enjoying, they fought for it. They paid for it with their lives. So I'm challenging every youth out there. You can't sit on the fence. You can't accept corruption as a yardstick to do whatever you need to do in life. You need to stand up and fight every vice, the cancer called corruption, because it has destroyed more lives. And the more we keep quiet, the more it gets worse. You can imagine a country celebrating thieves. You can imagine a country celebrating thieves, rogues, not only politicians, we also have pastors that are corrupt, and I'm sure we also have imams that are corrupt. We also have people of other religions that are very corrupt. We are not going to allow those corrupt individuals lead us anymore. And we are going to start from where we are. And that is by telling everyone around you, telling them the truth and teaching them on the basis of absolute truth. We are not going to compromise. We are rising. We are a generation that we are not going to take no. We are not going to compromise. We are going to stand on our ground. We are going to do what we need to do by the grace of God. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you've been able to learn something as you go about your work, your business, your daily activities in your family. You've got to discuss, you've got to talk, you've got to have a one-on-one discussion. Ask your family, okay, what do you think corruption is? How do you think it can be stopped? So, but from wherever you are, let people know you that you stand for things that are right. Let people know that you stand for the truth. Ogno Olumoga said the ripple effect of corruption. The ripple effect of corruption is crazy. Trust me. It's going to, because everything that God created, every single thing on the earth, they are connected. Nothing works in isolation. So one person's misbehavior, one person's misconduct, a person's foolishness is going to affect, it could affect thousands of lives. So one person deciding not to stand up for the truth automatically is going to have a ripple if it's going to have an effect on the next 1,000, thousands of people. So whatever we are going through now, whether as a nation or as individuals, are things that are being built over time by individuals. And some people didn't stand up to fight it. But I want to say today that no more, we are not going to accept corruption as a base for becoming influential in the society. No more. Let that be you, for you to stand out. Let it be you and me for us to fight that vice, that dangerous vice, that disease, that cancerous disease called corruption. It has eaten so deep that an average person is corrupt. An average person. By the time you listen to the words of their mouth, this like, it's normal. You just want to get to that post to steal. No, it's not going to be accepted. I hope you've been able to learn something today. Let me say hello to everyone. Nordan, thank you so much for your time. Fademi, how are you? Ibikunle Michael, so good to see you. Mr. Raphael, my good friend Adeleke Oluwatosin. Mr. Ogunowo, so good to see you. How are you, sir? Mama Olufunke Oyenira Akonde, so good to see you, ma'am. Ojo Pelumi, I cite you. Thank you for what you're doing. I celebrate you always. And thank you so much. Please, let's go and hit our share button so that people can learn one or two things. We are not going to accept corruption again. And we are going to start from where we are. And we're going to teach what we need to teach people. We are going to say to people what we need to say to people. We are going to tell them the absolute truth of what they need to do to become who God has asked them to be, without mixing words or without cheating or stealing from people. Thank you so much. I'm going to see you the same time next week. I love you all. Bye and God bless.